There is God here, and we have to talk about Blue Lock. And honestly, I really like this episode. We had the hype moments, everything that happened. But I have to give credit to Naruhaya. I think he was one of the most important characters we have had in the series so far, just for what he did for Isagi in this episode, and also make sure you check out the skits toward the end of the episode. They were really funny this time. But this episode had some interesting things happening, and one of my favorite scenes throughout the series. So let's get into it and talk about it. Now it picks up from last week when Naruhaya ignored Baro and shoots, but it gets blocked. He doesn't score. This is where you have Baro just don't stand in my Baro. I really like Baro. I hope we're gonna see more and more with Baro, especially after the way the episode ended. But the focus this time wasn't on Baro or on Nagi. They kind of took a bit of the sidelines in this episode, and fits for the team quite a lot, because we have Isagi trying to figure out how to overcome his limits, and even comparing himself with Naruhaya. It stuck what Naruhaya told him: we are both average Joes, and even made a perfect point that Isagi and Naruhaya are one step behind always. They're missing something. Naruhaya has the movement, the footwork, and Isagi has that direct shot there. So if their weapons could work together, as in combine, it would be perfect. And we're gonna get to that, because slowly we see how Isagi reaches that point, and I really liked it quite a lot how they handled that in this episode, with him having doubts, wanting to find what he's lacking, kept struggling, and always relying on the duel that was happening on the other side, Nagi versus Baro. He didn't really have a weapon or a way to fight proper 1v1 duels until he figures out something very important that he has been omitting so far. But slowly we see going through the match, it starts 3-3, the score there. Naruhaya also getting more and more frustrated, but Isagi throughout this match starts changing his thinking, his perspective, how he looks at everything. And Baro just being Baro, he almost scores from the midfield again, but Nagi blocks it. And this is where an important moment happens thanks to Naruhaya. He steals the ball, the second ball, the counter ball from Isagi from behind him, but Nagi intimidates him, like the pressure it put on him there intimidates him, and then we have Baro scoring again, and Isagi slowly starts figuring out his blind spot, that Naruhaya was always there, and also connects back to Rin, how he was able to counter Isagi and his eyesight previous match they had, and slowly figure out why they lost, everything that was happening. Isagi figures out off the ball, as in what happens when you don't have the ball. Duels also happen without the ball, so it's not just about the ball. You have to pay attention after that also, or before that, during that. Is not just when you are in control of the. And this is the key, the puzzle piece he was missing. Has to do more, changing basically his concept of football, how he was looking at everything there. And this is the beginning of how he starts slowly figuring out how to do, even commenting with Rin doing the same thing back then, and slowly going back, Nagi scoring again. It's 4-4 now, and this was the start of my favorite scene in the entire episode. While everybody else was dueling, fighting, doing everything on the field there, Isagi, I really like a character when he's single-minded, focused on one thing, ignores everything else. So we see him lost in thought, putting the puzzle pieces together through his thought process, everything. And my favorite line, Nagi was like, hey Sagi, let's do this. And Sagi was just like, I need you to shut up, genius. That was my favorite scene in the entire episode, and one of the best scenes we have had in Blue Lock. Basically just shut the fuck up and let me do my thing. But what I appreciated, Nagi trusted him, reminded him of back then when they dueled each other, when Isagi told him the same thing. And this is why "shut up, genius" is my favorite line. Honestly, I don't care how good you are, what you can do, how much better, more, whatever you are than me, just shut the fuck up right now. I need to focus. And I really liked that scene. Before we continue with the match, we see a bit of the backstory of Naruhaya, and I appreciate it. They showed us a bit of his history, and he wasn't just this average character. He had some personality to him, even though he reminded me quite a lot of Aohashi, and kind of has a very similar backstory with the main character from Aohashi, and just makes you think. This happens more often than not when you have a character like this, being poor, wanting to do his best for his family, trying to be a pro player to win some money for his family. We see them at the family dinner there, eating, spending time with each other, feeling really good. I really liked that atmosphere there. And one of the kids there, his brother, probably, "I'm gonna be rich in cryptocurrency." And yeah, I bursted out laughing when I heard that. You must not to see the current situation. Just make your own coin, kid. You got a future right there. Just don't learn from Logan Paul. But yeah, that was a fun scene there. We see his history is also pretty sad, tragic one. He lost his parents, his sister is taking care of them, and he wanted to do everything he could for his family, and I appreciate that. And also make sure you watch Ohashi. Now, back to the match. You have Baro being Baro, completely ignoring Naruhaya. "I'll do as I please. I don't care about you. I have my own way of doing things." Basically, my ninja way. He didn't say that, but that's what it reminded me. And I really like egotistical characters like this, especially Baro. We have seen so far. Rin also has that ego, but he's more demeaning, more condescending in a way. With how I see Rin, he kind of sees you as trash more than Baro. The different types of egos we have here. I really can't wait to have Baro face to face with Rin. And when he had to try again another midfield shoot, we have Nagi blocking his favorite position, the right, but the ego just wouldn't let him, and he tries again with the midfield, but on the opposite side, going for the left side. Thankfully, the robot blocked it there. This is where the culmination of the match happens. Everybody going for the second ball, basically the counter ball. And we have Naruhaya deciding to do a direct shot, copying Isagi. He figured out something very similar to what Isagi figured out, but unfortunately he misses. Just shows, hey, you weren't the main character in this story. You had the backstory, you had some of the skills, you had the drive, you had the will, but just you weren't the main character. And this is where we see the new formula that Isagi figured out. Average Joe times average Joe. And then you can kind of make a genius. Emulation, his new skill that he learned here. Watch the movements also of the other guys, calling back to what Rin told him, hey, read a book and figure out how human eyes work here. He's learning more and more, and also paying attention to everything else, not just the ball. And this is where Isagi goes in the blind spot of Baro. He wins the duel not through dribbling, not through skills, just with movements and thanks to his eyes there. This was a very important stepping stone for Isagi. This is why I said Naruhaya was one of the most important characters we have had in the series. And after he gets in the blind spot, Nagi passes to him, and he goes beyond plus ultra, even further beyond, reaching his new self in his own world there with a direct shot. And they win. After everything, they finally win. And I really liked how they reached this point. It was obvious they're gonna win. It's not that type of story where you expect twist and turn. This one was an obvious win for them. It was more about the journey that we had Isagi getting there. And I really like that Baro and Nagi took more of a sideline role in this this episode. And I felt Naruhaya after that. Why isn't that me? It should have been me. Insert your Yugi meme there, feeling very frustrated. And he made a very good point. We are not the same. Back to what he said to Isagi last episode. We are both average. This one he realized we are not the same. Isagi, you are now no average Joe. You always change. You are always willing to tear yourself down, build yourself back up, change everything about you, change your perspective. I'm paraphrasing a bit. But the biggest compliment he could give him, even though he was very frustrated, you are a genius of adaptability. That's a very good point. Isagi always changes his perspective, his thought process, how he looks at things, what he's willing to do, just always improving, learning, and changing. And this is also part of why he's one of the best players we have in the series. He's not up to the levels of the other powerhouses in the series, but he's willing to work towards that, change everything. He has the ego, but also his ego is not blocking him, how others refuse to change their ways. And even thanks Naruhaya there. But I really like how Naruhaya handled that situation, his frustration, the loss that happened. He didn't need the pity, but still acknowledging Isagi there. And I'm really happy they didn't go with the route, hey, let's pick Naruhaya and build him up. He's an average Joe, he has potential. But no, there's no way they were gonna pick Naruhaya over Baro. And of course, Isagi picks Baro. And I really like the comment he made. This isn't where you bow out. Even though Baro was very frustrated. But hey, at least he did more than enough to earn his place here. This is gonna be a very interesting team. And even Naruhaya being okay with it, accepting what happened there, telling him when Isagi said, hey, I'm gonna win this, you're naive if you think you're gonna win that easy. And even after that, him win Isagi, you have to keep winning until you die. So yeah, he kind of takes a bit of his hope moving forward. And I really liked this episode. Naruhaya was an awesome character. Probably we're not gonna see him again, but was a very good stepping stone for Isagi and his future. So this was pretty much the main focus of the episode, with Isagi learning something very new here, but also get us some interesting sideline story in a way, with 24 hours ago Kunigami and Chigiri finally getting their third teammate, needing somebody to pass to them, somebody to help them with their weapons, and they choose Ryo, whom he was very frustrated that he lost Nagi there, and they both, or all three of them, decide to have a mini revenge, or at least Kunigami and Chigiri are not that serious about it, more like a friendly revenge against Isagi for leaving them behind. But Reo is a bit more serious, wanting his revenge on Nagi for abandoning him. But this is where the episode ends. I'm very excited for next week. Probably not gonna happen next week, but like I said, I really want to have Barrow and Rin face to face. Hopefully that's going to happen. Two of the biggest egos we have in the series clashing. I'm really curious how that is gonna work out, and also how the next match is gonna go. Who this new team, and how is Barrow, Nagi and Isagi are gonna work together, especially with Barrow's ego. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But we're gonna have to see next week. Now, like I said, I hope you guys watch the skits. At the end there we have Nagi, Baro bickering over the beds, Nagi, Baro wanting the single one, Isagi, hey guys, don't fight, it's okay. But I also kind of want that bed also. Man, he got completely ignored. And then you have Nagi and Baro starting a pillow fight. And Nagi knows how to press Barrow's button, calling him former king. But the best skit was, and this was the second one, when you have Kunigami and Chigiri kind of witnessing something disturbing, with Reo with a toothbrush in the bathroom, pulling some strands of it. Nagi's coming back. Nagi's not coming back. Am I gonna be cold towards Nagi? I'm not gonna be cold towards Nagi. So yeah, Ray was not over Nagi and him getting dumped. Well, overall, I really liked this episode. I'm excited for next week. I'm really curious what you guys thought about the episode, also of the series so far. What do you think about it? I think it's gonna be one of my favorite sports series. We have 24 episodes. I really hope we're gonna get a season 2 after that, but we're gonna talk about it when we reach there. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot. And you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. Also, make sure you check out the podcast. So, I'll see you in the next one. Keep enjoying. Good luck. Goodbye.